Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to our weekly live. This is a new day. We usually go live at noon on Monday, but it's Friday. It's actually Friday, so we're moving our date to Friday, and it'll be noon or evening. I did not decide yet. It depends on this kid's schedule. But I'm thrilled to have you join us today for an insightful conversation on financial empowerment. We have a very special guest with us, Gabriel Rodriguez. I know him as Gabe from GT Advisory Group. Gabe has an incredible story that many of you will connect with, especially if you're navigating the ups and downs of business and family life. So I'm going to bring Gabe in. Hello, Gabe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really
Good.
excited for everyone to hear about your journey and how you use your own challenges to build a career in helping others. So, before we dive into our conversation, can you give the audience a little more background on how you transitioned from civil engineering into financial services?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi everybody. So I grew up in this area. I actually was born in Puerto Rico, moved to New York when I was, I guess, 4 or 5 years old. My mom moved us out there. When I was seven, my dad and my mom split. Dad never showed up again. My mom raised four kids on her own, and she was always focused on education, grades, things of that nature. I think as most of us. And we grew up in Manhattan in Harlem, and latter part of my or beginning of my high school career, we moved out to Brentwood, so in Long Island. So grew up there, graduated from high school, and of course went to college. Was the first one in my family tree actually to go to college.
Oh,
I remember leaving college, ended up wanting to be a biomedical engineer. I love sports. My mom loved me, always wanted a doctor in the family. So I tried biomedical engineering, but it wasn't for me. Switched it to engineering science, and I got my degree in civil engineering. I did that for a number of years. In 2005, I moved to Virginia. At that point, I just wanted to get out of New York, and continue pursuing my career there. And a friend of mine and I started a company in flipping properties. This was right before 2008. Long story short, market, as you know, crashed.
mhm.
That led to bankruptcy for me, for my friend. And lost the three homes we had, lost about 50 grand of money that we've invested at that point, and was broke. I was making good money at my job. I still had my job as a civil engineer. Was about 8 years in. And then I met a gentleman who um, started teaching me about the rules and regulations of money management. And that really changed my life. It was an eye opener for me. I always considered, if you pay all your bills on time, you raise your credit score when they buy a house. That was kind of what I understood about financial success, and realized it was nowhere near what you needed to be wealthy. So I started getting acclimated to the industry. I started to like it. I had an interest in just getting a little bit more information, got my license, and about 3 to 4 years later, I quit my job. Started my business in Virginia. I met my wife there. At that point, we moved back to New York about 12 years ago now. We now live in Quorum. My wife and I have 5 kids, and we run a pretty successful financial firm. We are right in the Holbrook area, across the street from MacArthur Airport on Vets Highway. And we also have a small office location in Huntington, and potentially looking to expand into Riverhead as well. And that's now the kids are driving me crazy. I'm an Uber driver as well for my kids. If anybody,
Right?
as you know, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a story in my background.
Well, that's such an inspiring story. You clearly turned like a setback into opportunity, which I think resonates with so many of us. So I just want to get into some important topics that are on everyone's mind, especially when it comes to financial planning. Like we hear financial planning and we're like, that's another language.
Hmm.
What does that really mean? So the first question I want to ask is life insurance important and how does it fit into the bigger financial picture?
Great question. So, life insurance, I look at it as your financial household. When you think about a house and how it's being built, where do you start? In the foundation, right? Without the foundation, the rest of the house cannot be built. Now, look, when you're looking to buy a house, you go and see 50 homes, and you can fall in love with this, fall in love with that. Nobody cares necessarily about what the foundation looks like, as long as it's what? It's not cracked. Because it
Yeah.
don't matter how beautiful the home is, if you find out in the inspection that the house is that the foundation has a big crack in it, you most likely won't be buying it. That is what life insurance is to your financial household. It is the foundation to ensure that everything else works. What I mean by that is when you consider, you work hard, you pay your bills, everything is because you are able to work. You are the biggest asset to your family. It is not your home. It is not obviously your car. It is yourself. So you want to make sure you protect it. And how do we do it? By getting life insurance.
Exactly. I like when you when we were meeting the other day, you're like, you get insurance on your car, you have
Mm-hmm.
insurance on your phone, but you don't have insurance on you.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly. Yeah,
So
if
like,
you don't, if I
huh?
can add one more thing to it, if that's okay.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
when you consider the textbook definition, I think a lot of people are not aware of this. Textbook definition of life insurance is to create an immediate estate in the case of premature death. That simply
Mm,
means have a lump sum of money if you die too early. Now, when you consider things like you mentioned, car, home, what is it that you do when you get car and home insurance? By the way, I know it's by law, but what is it that you're doing? You're replacing that material or that asset or that thing with money.
yeah.
The mistake I think, or the misconception rather, that we look at is life insurance protect life. No, it doesn't. It never has and it never will. It protects money. And to me
Mm,
is easy. If you work and you have someone else that depends on the money you make, you need to protect it because you are the biggest asset of your family. So you should have life insurance.
yes, definitely. Definitely do. Because those GoFundMe pages are not it, especially from the tax side, because you're gonna pay taxes on that. And this is not tax.
That's
This
it's an
tax free.
income. It's an
Exactly.
income, right?
Exactly. This is not tax. You don't have to pay taxes on any. Your kids won't pay taxes, whatever. So I know there's so many policies out there, and it can get really confusing because I think I had like three of them at the same time. So I was confused. So in your experience, what is the best type of policy for someone who's just starting to think about life insurance?
So, I mean, you can go real in depth in going through that. I'm going to keep it really simple. There's
Mm-hmm.
ultimately two types of policies. There's term and there's cash value.
Mm-hmm.
A term is what it sounds like. It's coverage for a period of time where the premium and the coverage stay the same. And that could be 1 year, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Some companies have 35-year terms. And it is not more complicated than that. As long as you're paying your premium, you'll have it for that extended period of time. A cash value policy, however, is a combination of two things: a term policy attached to a savings vehicle. How the savings vehicle is attached will change the type of cash value policy you have. For
Mm-hmm.
example, a lot of you are familiar with a whole life, right? It's usually the one that most people are familiar with. Then you have what's called variable universal life policies. You have universal life policies. Today, what's big and what you hear a lot about is something called an IUL, index universal life policy. So all of those types of policies have a savings. The question becomes, which is better? Is there one better? So here's how I'll put it. Term is the cheapest way to go when it comes to buying life insurance. Any cash value will always 100% of the time be more expensive because you're really paying for two things.
Mm-hmm.
What people are not aware of, or most people are not aware of, is that the premium being paid in a cash value policy is broken up into really three parts because you got fees associated with that, but we'll keep fees to the side for a second. You're paying for the term coverage, of which, by the way, you're never getting that back because you're actually paying for the service. You're paying for the insurance portion, right? The transfer of risk. A lot of people say, well, in a term, I don't want to pay a term policy because I'm never getting my money back. Well, you're never getting it back in the whole life or universal life or IUL either because you're paying for that. And it's no different than paying car insurance. If you never get into a car accident, are you ever getting the money back from Geico? No.
Sometimes makes you want to just go crash the car real quick.
Be careful. Okay, be careful with that. We gotta be careful here, right? Live.
Like, I don't know.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. right? So it's the same thing with life insurance. So the real question becomes, what's happening with the savings?
Mhm.
That is the thing that we can go into depth about, and I keep it really simple. That money you're giving to the insurance company, they're taking it and they're leveraging it. They're
Mm.
making a lot of money on it. It's no different than what the bank does with your money when you put it into a savings account,
Yeah.
where they give you less than 1%, but they're making 15 to 20% on average on the
Wow.
same money. So what I tell people is this: if you can take the same money you're spending in a cash value and buy the cheapest possible policy and take the difference and invest it yourself where you have full control of it, wouldn't that make a little bit more sense? And therein lies the rub. So, if I was to answer your question, by far, no cash value policy is ever good. It's actually one of the worst financial products in the industry.
Mm.
And anybody that ever has questions or concerns or wants to get more information on that, I can do that with them directly. Otherwise, this can take hours to kind of go
Yeah.
over details.
No, I mean that was a great breakdown anyway. So, but I know one question we get a lot from our clients is about like market risk. Like, can you shed some
Mhm.
light on that?
Very
Because I know you mentioned that just now. So specifically, can you lose money in the market?
The simple answer is, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But can you make money? Absolutely. And here's how I'll put it. Um, a lot of people, their biggest, all of us, by the way, they say, I've heard this a long time ago, I never forgot it. Uh, the most sensitive nerve in the human body is the one between your wallet and your head, right? It's how we spend our money, how we use our money, right?
Yeah.
And in the world of finance, and I've seen this, I've been doing this 16 years. In the world of finance, everybody has money for the things they want to do. The things we must do, most of the time we don't have it. Right? So with that being said, when it comes to investing, nobody wants to have risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you want that risk. Now, let me kind of define what I mean by that. When you think about risk, risk can be determined, can be changed. What I mean by that, if you have a home today, you probably would not bet $1,000 that next year is going to be worth more or less, right? Because it's 1 year, right? You want it to
Mm-hmm.
be worth more, but it may be less. How about 10 years from now? Same home, 10 years from now, what is the likelihood that it's going to be worth more?
A lot, like
A lot
a lot,
higher. See,
a lot
20,
higher.
30. The longer you take the time frame, the higher the chances of it being worth more. So I have just changed risk by changing time. And that's a
Hmm.
factor that a lot of people don't understand. When it comes to investing money, you always invest for the long term. That's what I teach families. It's not timing the market. By that I mean a lot of people, the mistake they make is they try to, hey, when is the right time to jump in? When is the right time to get out? You don't know, and no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
But time in the market is what makes the ultimate impact. That's the difference. And that's what I help
Wow.
people understand. And you protect it. What I call the 3 Ds of investing: diversification, dollar cost averaging, and discipline. And those are the things I help people understand to ensure that in the future they have money, that their money grows over time and be able to retire.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is amazing. Like I said, the reward is in the risk. That's what we always say, right?
Mhm.
We do risk every day. So
Absolutely.
that makes so much sense, like I said. And it sounds like it's all about having a plan and understanding the risk you're comfortable with.
Mhm.
So before we do wrap it up, do you have like any final thoughts or advice for people trying to build their financial future?
Um, yes. Where do I begin? And I'll keep it again. I'll keep it simple. Look, I believe the one common denominator: everybody wants to do better financially,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, everybody knows that we all waste money. We all spend it. We all waste it. We all use it in the wrong ways. Um, the question becomes, how important is it for you to change that? Now, most people don't consider that until later in life, Well, when you're in your 20s, oh man, life is great. YOLO, right? What is that? Live now, whatever it's called. You only live once, that kind of stuff. Until they turn what? 30, then it becomes a little bit more serious. You start a family. By 40, your kids are starting to grow. Maybe you have one more at the end, right? I'm 47. I have a 2-year-old. Imagine that. And things, your financial health becomes very critical. And by 50, that's when most people start really thinking more seriously about saving money. The one challenge with that is what? You're 50. Your time frame has been cut down by a lot. And therefore, you may not save as much as you should have saved if you would have started earlier. So with that in mind, the first thing I'll tell people is get information, right? Contact Corinne, contact myself. Let us go through the process of what it would take. And everybody's different. When I sit down with a family, my responsibility is simple, is find out where they are today. And I don't care where it is, high, low, positive, negative, I could care less. My job is to help them grow their wealth and their net worth while protecting it through, protecting from risks, peril, inflation, taxes, things of that nature, right? And that's where Corinne comes in. That's where we're partnered up. She can help on the tax side of it, right? So that's the first step. And then once I know where they are, I need to find out where they want to be. What is they want to retire? How many kids they have? Do they want to have coverage? Maybe education plans for the kids. Do they have a lot of debt? What is their mortgage like? Are they looking to buy a house over the next 3, 4, 5 years? What do they have to do to ensure that can happen? So I get all this information. I put together what's called a financial needs analysis, which, by the way, is proprietary to my company. And then I come back and I share with them the concept. I share with them the plan that suits their situation. And while we all want similar things, we all want to, do well, we want to retire and all those things, the process or the numbers may differ from between you and me and everyone else. And that's kind of what we put together for each individual family is a very specific plan for, per individual, per family. So start today. Stop procrastinating. I think it's the biggest thing.
Yeah, if you are, like I always say, if you know the knowledge now, like you got the nuggets today, start to call tomorrow, tonight, figure it out, like get it together. And that's another thing, because we're in October. So most of my clients know in October, we tell them to reach out to Gabe and reach out to other financial planners at this moment, because you have 3 more months left to put your money. If you're making this big profit, you can put your money in some great vehicles, asset vehicles, to save on taxes. So this is the time, guys. It's October. So if you're a business owner, you took a look at your profit and loss and you notice you're having a profit, even though you might not see it in the bank, it's time to make some moves in the next few months on how to not shelter your money, but put it into some great vehicles of assets that can help you, save on taxes at the end of the year.
It is sheltering. It is protecting, right? Why give it more to the government? They give you these vehicles. They're the ones that created the vehicles for us. Let's leverage them. Why not? Why wouldn't we?
Exactly. So you want to focus on getting that financial plan after you take a look at your business, because it's like anything. Because when you do the financial plan and you're looking at their income from everything, W-2s, wherever. So in your business side, you want to make sure you have it in order so you can present it to your financial planner, so they know exactly what's up and down. Like they don't need to guess it. Like I make like 40,000 in revenue. That doesn't help when you come to your financial planner. That's
Correct.
not telling the whole story. We need the whole story.
Absolutely.
So that's
and if you do have a small business of some sort, and you can talk about this even further, but if you do have a small business, there are ways to minimize your tax liability by protecting with SEP IRAs and KEOs and solo 401ks and things that we can help with as a licensed professional. While also you double dipping. Not only are you reducing your tax liability, but you're also starting to save money for the future.
Exactly. And it's all about the future. Because
Absolutely.
especially if you're going for that term insurance, because the older you get, which is I learned from the older you get, the less insurance you need. You need more assets. So it's amazing to start doing that now and not wait. Like I don't care if you're 51 or 21. Like start. You got to start it. You got to start working towards that goal. Because when you get up there, in fact, when it gets harder, inflation is going to happen in 30 years. And you're just talking about time. In time, everything is going to go up. So if you have nothing, and your paycheck usually doesn't go up as fast, or if you're working a W-2, it doesn't go as fast as inflation. So you're gonna have to figure out how to connect the two, figure out that formula if you're
Absolutely.
using these assets. So fantastic advice, Gabriel. Thank you so much for being here and like sharing expertise. And I know our clients have, and my audience has learned a lot today. But for those of you watching, be sure to check out GT Advisory Group and connect with Gabe and his wife Tanya, because we know she's behind this too.
She's the
So if you're
superstar. I'm just I'm the backup.
Yes. So she's like me. She's an introvert, so she does not want to be on here. So if you're looking for solid financial guidance, those are your two people to reach out to, and they have a fantastic team, and they make sure they'll be. If it's not them, they'll find somebody that can help you
Absolutely.
with your financial planning. So, Gabe, do
Yeah, I'll put
you?
my phone number on so they can have it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So let me put your phone number. What's the number so I can post it? Oh,
Six
here
three
it is.
one. Yeah.
Okay. So let me throw this up on the screen. You can reach out, give them a call, and everything like that.
Oh, that's
There's a
so
number.
cool. I've never seen this before. That's awesome.
So if you need him, reach out. Thank you, Gabe, so much for joining us today. It was
Anytime.
amazing having you on, and I'll see you soon.
Have a good
See
one.
you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for joining. That was our live. I'm not taking any questions today, but if you need to reach out to us, in the outro, you can DM us. If you need to reach out to Gabe, if you didn't get the phone number, we'll be putting it also in our comments, and we'll also be sending out a replay. Instagram, we're sorry we didn't go live with you today, but we'll do a watch party so you can rewatch what Gabe shared because this was amazing. Thank you so much. Have a good one.